press conference in Perth yesterday, but Bowie, for 1983, in his vintage, it's turned out to be a far cry from the self-confessed drug addict of yesteryear. This casual, suntanned and impossibly blonde rock and roll survivor has come a long way from his childhood days in London's sleazy suburbs and his exotic journeys through pop subculture as the character Ziggy Stardust. Tricia Duffield was at the conference and brings us this report on the new look David Bowie.
Promoters say it was Bowie's idea to hold the Perth conference, and it seemed as if this once cadaverous cocaine addict now wanted to put a few skeletons to rest for good. The conference was his way of announcing his return to the human race, to declare health, happiness and a clear head not so bad after all. We were told it was open season, that Bowie would answer, albeit cautiously, whatever we wanted to know about this enigmatic but perplexing chameleon. With grace, elegance and a good deal of humour, he traversed the grimy waters of his past. At times he looked downright embarrassed when quizzed about his history, his bisexuality, his drug abuse.
What's the biggest lie that's ever been told about you, David?
What's the what?
The biggest lie that's ever been told about you.
Right. Do you have one in particularly in mind?
Yeah.
Would you please voice it?
I think particularly about the one about you being bisexual, which I think you described yourself in 1976.
I think that was true at the time. As most young people at that time in the 70s, I was sort of very experimental in my lifestyle as well as the work that I was doing. I don't see any substance to that over the last 10 years or so.
Today, Bowie has a message, and he's shouting it loud and clear from stadiums in Europe, Japan, America, and now Australia. He wants to tell the world a thing or two about nuclear war, racism, drugs, and brotherhood. To the older and wiser Bowie, the answer to the world's heartache is simple.
I've achieved some status as a pop artist. I'd like to be fairly committed to contributing my viewpoints on what are the immoralities of the world. I think it's very fair to say that the world is probably in the most catastrophic period of our knowledge. I think it's almost my duty to try and do something about it in positive terms. I think the calamity is the emphasis placed on material progress, the lack of substance, lack of importance placed on the substance of one's personal and spiritual welfare within the family or within the relations with other people. The emphasis is continually on how well can you do, what can you get, and how big can you be. And I've lived through all that, and I've seen the radical emptiness it can produce. I think it's produced.
Bowie says he's tired of talking riddles. He wants his music and his video clips to say something, to protest at what he says are the...
As a picture of an indigenous people, I happen to use the Aborigines, an indigenous people who felt that they were being kept away from life in a modern white capitalist society.
Bowie almost joined the casualty list of the late greats. He admits he can barely remember vast chunks of his life as he wandered through a cocaine haze in Los Angeles' beautiful but not so healthy society.
On cocaine, yeah, I think it's... I think if I hadn't have stopped, I would have ended my life a lot earlier than this.
Today, he's all class and intellect. He's found respect as a legitimate actor with his portrayal of Jack Selliers in the film Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence.
Are you great? Well, I've tried the manju, and I've tried the flowers. I think the flowers taste better.
Bowie was once described as a man positively leaking loneliness. Perhaps he still is. But at 36, he's decided that life on Mars isn't a patch on belonging to the human race. And as the conference ended, it was clear the human race is quite happy to have him back.
I hope you enjoy the concerts as well. Yes, sure.
Well, there you have a intellectual and tailored David Bowie, and certainly a lot of fans in Australia looking forward to his concerts. Hope you do enjoy it if you're going.